Oh no. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Okay. Yes.
Not being that long, you get some humongous runs off the top compared to the bottom. But and I've done a little bit of testing myself here, and I also choose to push and win which line they run, whether or not they think this race is going to have a lot of cautions or going to go green. I think is going to determine where they run, where they make their passes. That's what I'm most interested to see. I think at the start, a lot of people are going to be up high, but if we get past like a 15, 20 lap string of green, I think we might see more people migrate to the bottom and stay there.
Oh, we'll have to see if that projection comes true here after a couple commercial breaks here. But join us back in a couple minutes when we will be here in Bristol for some exciting racing here in the CIL.
And you're out. Oh man. That entire time I was like fighting my other stream as well, because for some reason my NDI stopped. So yeah. Hey, I've done that for quite a few races where, like, especially like maybe something I might not know as well. I'll go, like, I know I did a radical series and I would go and practice on the radicals and the track. Yeah. For anyone watching this secondary stream, firstly, welcome in. Sorry about that issue we just had. One of my stream, or my stream from this stream to that streamception broke, so I just had to quickly adjust that. I am breaking the fourth wall. Kind of weird. I get to talk to them directly. No. Oh yeah, you can. Or no, they can't hear you. I was just thinking about. No, they hear the output of the stream. So right now they just hear a bunch of music. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. We're gonna be watching Nick, by the way. For yeah. And we do have a track flyover. Yeah, he can do like the track details. There we go. All right, you guys got about 4 minutes since we ended early. Yeah, you guys ended early. Yep. Sanchez fourth. The what do you call it? What does he call himself? The what does that word call himself? Thank you. Gosh, I couldn't think of the word super speedway. I could think of merchant, which is weird. Mm-hmm. Oh. They want me to interview Burl next week for the pre-race. I don't know. Just because Burl. Did you make said Baja Blast? Oh right. Oh, do you live in a place that you can buy the spiked ones? Oh, I hate you for that. For anyone watching, yes, I know you cannot hear the commentators at the moment. You're only hearing the output of the stream. You'll be able to hear them once the stream starts. No, thank you. Just the last 5 minutes? Did you see them? I don't know if you were in the session yet. They were using the pit that because now you get onto the podium thing. They were using that as a ramp and trying to jump onto the track. Old watch racing. Much true. Oh yeah. 20 seconds. Ten. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
We've only got one race left this year, and many drivers think it's probably their last shot of having any type of success in the CIL this season and being crowned a CIL champion. And what a more fitting way to do it than to battle it out at the last great Coliseum. Tonight, we will head out to Bristol Motor Speedway to see who can tame this Coliseum. Welcome to the 12th round of Season 12 in the CIL Garage Shop College Cup Series. Alongside me is co-commentator Ryan Whitlock and producer Christian Brian Hill. Operating in the background, I'm Brad Daniels, welcoming you to the Bucky's Bristol Bash 200 presented by ETSU Esports. And, it is going to be a fight till the very end if you're anyone, trying to get any shot at Daniel Nanny's title, it seems like right now. And Ryan, I mean, we talked in the pre-show about it, but, what is going through, what do you think is going through some of these racers' head, like Clint, like Jared, like some of these others just trying to keep it up with Daniel Nanny at, probably one of the most chaotic places you could think of?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Chaotic is the word to use here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I think the mindset tonight is not dissimilar to what it was last week at Chicago. It's just survive. If you can make it to the end, get a top 5, a top
on the track,
10, and let's say something happens to Daniel Nanny, then you've got a good shot at a good result here. Located in Bristol, Tennessee, at the very northeast of the state of Tennessee, we are here at Bristol Motor Speedway. You can see ever so slightly. Is that from when they were laying dirt on the track?
It was. I think they just started.
Yeah,
but ever so slightly, I do believe it's 3 and 4 are slightly tighter than 1 and 2. Just barely above a half mile here at Bristol. 4 turns. Banking is 4 degrees way at the bottom of the track, below the yellow line. That's on the apron. And it goes as high as 28 degrees at the top of the track. Bristol is progressively banked. It gets steeper the higher up you go. Pit speed is a very slow 35 miles an hour. If we've got green flag pit stops, that's going to be something to watch out for. And in the Collegiate iRacing League College Cup Series, it was first seen in 2022. That was only Season 5 of competition. And here we are in Season 12, the last great Coliseum once again.
Yeah, and, it's been around the CIL for a long time, and a lot of strange rules like single lane pit road here. Like, there's a lot of things about Bristol. It's just unique to this short track. And short track racing, everyone's tempers are going to be up, everyone's going to be a little more on the edge. But before we get to all of that kind of exciting stuff here, let's thank our sponsors who provide all of the support for us this season. First off, The Garage Shop, a race car fabrication company building some of the most unique cars, trucks, and off-road vehicles around. Their motto of honoring the racers who came before us and putting our competitors behind us. You can check them out at thegarageshop200.com. ECAC Esports. ECAC Esports exists to add great value to its members' schools by enhancing the competitive experience for hundreds of students seeking to participate in intercollegiate esports. The McConey Setup Shop, the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, and more. The official setup shop of eNASCAR and the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Visit McConeySetupShop.com to subscribe today. Whiplash SimCams, an iRacing and esports media group specializing in racing and team graphics, iRacing camera packs, and other broadcasting resources. And tonight's race sponsor, ETSU Esports. They are hosting tonight's event at the Crown Jewel, and they are providing a $50 bonus provided by the team at ETSU. If you have any insight or have any further questions, go and talk to etsu.edu/esports.
Yeah, this is a home race for those Eastern Tennessee State University guys, so they're always proud to sponsor Bristol every time we come here. Proud to sponsor it as a crown jewel race, so there's a little bit of extra prize pool tonight on offer for these drivers. But we are just a little ways through qualifying. These drivers are setting their lap times. We'll talk about them here in just a second. But yeah, I mean, I think qualifying is going to be super important here. Your track position at a short track this hard to pass at is not only going to determine, literally where you are position-wise, obviously, but also, like, what the pace is going to be like. If guys up at the front control the pace, what's it going to look like farther back? So I think, to a certain extent, your strategy is going to be determined by literally just where you start.
Yeah, and I think definitely, like, you look at a lot of other tracks where track position is key. I think Chicago was a great example of that. And tonight here at Bristol, you're gonna try and keep yourself ahead of all of the carnage behind you, but at the same time, I mean, you can't really get away from side-by-side racing here, it seems like, at Bristol, unless you're one of the top three. It seems like it's kind of just gonna be imminent that you're gonna be in some type of great battle here. But I think producer Christian, I think we have a qualifying video.
25 seconds.
Actually, I have to wait on that. Apologies, I'm getting ahead of myself here. But, like Ryan, like you said, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to have to try and do their darnest because, this season there's been points associated with getting poles and, a lot of extra bonus points that a lot of these guys have been trying to catch throughout the season. And I think Daniel Nanny's done a great job right now of getting pretty much everything you can get out of this bonus point system. So, if anyone I think has a shot at trying to dethrone Daniel Nanny this season, it's going to have to try and do more than just finish well. You might have to, get a pole, get a couple fast laps going, and also just try to, keep yourself sane while trying to battle around here. I'm looking at the track right now, Christian. I don't know if this is just on my side, but it looks foggy and dark, or maybe that's just on my side here.
I think that's just on your side. I don't know. But we have qualifying to do. So
I'm seeing a little bit of fog here myself, Brad.
Okay.
But I think let's take a look at this qualifying video if we've got it ready, as these drivers are getting out for the warm-up. All drivers have met the 107% time. Nobody is going home. Everybody gets to race tonight. Here we go. Riding on board. Excuse me, external cam of Nick Stockner, that
on board next lap.
homage paint scheme. Second to last race for him as the College Cup Series director. Ditching the orange wheels for the blue wheels. He would go on board for his fast lap. Ripping that high side, like I said, taking advantage of the extra banking. Almost hits the wall there.
Oh!
Does hit the wall there. That lap would have been invalidated. Not counts as his fastest, but still, I mean, you can just see how much the drivers have to push to make it work here around Bristol. You just carry so much speed around that high side that it's absolutely worth it. if tires aren't a concern. I do believe Daniel Nanny walked away with that pole there by quite a healthy margin, but still at a track as short as Bristol, where a good time is nearly 13 seconds, the margins are, you could fit a credit card.
Ready for grid whenever.
Yeah, super, super close. As we take a look at our starting grid here in just a moment.
As Ryan already said, Daniel Nanny from Ball State takes your pole position, and Edward Sanchez from Baruch will line up alongside him on the front row in second. And in third, we have Lucas Moody from Ball State. To his outside, Reese Bayhem from Auburn. Rounding out your top 5, Zach DeWale from St. Clair College. To his outside, R. Muhammad Ali from Ball State. In 7th, we have Keegan Cowlick from St. Clair College, and to his outside, Matthew Norberg from North Carolina State University. And in row 5, rounding out your top 10, it is Esteban Munoz from Florida International University. To his outside, Kelton Quick from Ball State. So Ball State having 4 cars in the top 10.
Ryan.
Kind of crazy.
Rolling off 11th is Jason Wallett from Drexel University. Starting beside Jared Kaler from UNC Charlotte. Not a great showing for Jared. Garrett Vighton just behind from Arizona State University, with Brandon Schulenberger from Wingate to his outside. Brennan Lyman from the University of Colorado in Denver starting 15th, with Jake Cummings, another not ideal starting spot for him in 16th. Clint Halterman, again, not ideal qualifying from UNC Charlotte starting 17th, with Ricky Paz from East Carolina University starting 18th. Nick Stockner in his home race for Clemson University starting 19th, with teammate Andrew Williams from Clemson University to his outside in 20th.
Ball State's Nick Henley starts in 21st, and to his outside, Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso. In row 12, we have Cade Corbin from the University of Alabama, Huntsville. To his outside, Andrew Burrell from Clemson. In 25th, it's Wesley Shaw from Texas A&M University Texarkana, and to his outside, Caleb Winslow from East Carolina. In row 14, we have Robbie Hotchkiss from New England College, and to his outside, Ben Neller from Ball State. And rounding out your top 30, Connor Zabosian from Kettering University, and to his outside, Roger Primo from Paul Smith College.
Ryan Grapp, last 9.
Riley Berkins rolls off 31st from New England College, next to Nathaniel Crone from the University of Toledo. Row 17, Michael James from Drexel, side by side with Logan Smith from Auburn University. Row 18 consists of Grant Schiller from St. Clair College, next to Jacob Martin from Belmont Abbey College. Jack Wilson rolls off 37th from the University of North Georgia, with Zachary Hill, also from the University of North Georgia, starting beside him. And on the inside of the last row is Carter Capini from Paul Smith College.
Well, Ryan, I mean, you kind of spoke to it. A lot of these guys that we've seen at the top of the standings and, have historically, qualified pretty well. We've seen them, currently sitting in the mid-pack above, 20th, but still not ideal for a lot of these guys. What are you thinking? What's their game plan going through here? I know there's 200 laps. It's a long race, and, you got a lot of time, but at the same time, you're right in the middle of it.
I mean, if I had to guess, a lot of those guys who qualified poorer than we expected them to were used to running race pace laps in practice, and then really had to turn it on, no regards for tires, set a good qualifying time, and just weren't able to. And especially at a track like Bristol, where, 1/10 can be a humongous margin. Even half a tenth, only 500ths, can be pretty stout. So I imagine they just didn't quite get everything they wanted to here tonight, and they're suffering because of it. I imagine the game plan is just be smart. I don't think the game plan changes a ton. Just be smart, don't get anything, and their race pace will hopefully show itself as time goes on.
And you can see in the bottom left of your screen now, there's a couple active drivers tonight, both from Ball State, and R. Muhammad Alif and Daniel Nanny, who have won here at Bristol. Also including Ryan Fenty from St. Joseph's, Matthew O'Brien from Michigan Tech, and Charles Wembley back in season 10 from Guilford. So we've had, a lot of different winners, no repeats yet, but Daniel Nanny, with that strong pole position, he can dictate this race to whatever he wants to do. So, he has the charge as of right now. So he's going to try and go back to back potentially for Ball State, but there's 38 other cars that are going to try and stop him, and especially try to not lock out that championship for season 12 here.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, you know, it's definitely an advantage for Daniel Nanny starting on pole as Edward Sanchez, leader of the outside row. It takes a little while to get going. But Nanny can really dictate the pace here. He's got all the options. If he wants to push, he can do so because I don't really think anyone is going to match him on raw pace if he has clean air. And if he wants to save and conserve a little bit, oh, never mind. I think that was Nanny dropping to the back there. He is serving an EOL for, oh, gee, I wish I knew this off the top of my head, but it must be a standing penalty from previous races, meaning Nanny actually has to start from the back, but he still enjoys the benefit of that bonus point for pole position.
Yeah, I mean, you are right, Ryan. He has to start from the back, but, you know, I think we've seen that time and time again where, you know, he has to drop back there sometimes, and he'll make his way back up eventually here if all things go right. But now we got a front row of Ball State's Lucas Moody and Edward Sanchez still to the outside. So Ball State's still lining up in the front, but just a different driver. And you can see here tonight, 200 laps here at Bristol, and we got a heck of a lot of fuel. So as you know, Nick talked in the pre-show, not going to have to worry about that, just the tires. And the pace car has its lights out coming through turn 4 here, goes down through pit lane. Lucas Moody drives it up through the restart zone and powers it down. Edward Sanchez gets a great start though going into turn 1.
Hold for first lap.
Oh, and there's someone spinning. Who was that? I think that was... Oh, I wish I knew who that was. That looks... I can't quite tell from this camera angle, but they spun, collected someone as they were spinning. Field piles into them. That is... I'm surprised that wreck wasn't even bigger than it was. We were able to make it through 1 and 2 okay, but not 3 and 4.
Yeah, it was weird. It looked like they just, you know, obviously I think they got a little bit of a tag going into 3 and 4, like you said. I think it was Esteban Munoz, but we'll have to take a look back to see how that all happened. I mean, start, Edward Sanchez had a great jump, but not for long. As you see, everyone's trying to catch back up to the field, get to the right spots. And I also forgot this huge Megatron of screen's going to be in the middle of our way the entire night. No matter what you do, you can't really get away from it.
Yeah.
So,
yep. As a few guys come down into the pit lane, I imagine for damage repair, no real reason to take tires and fuel here. I hope they forget to uncheck their tires so that they don't mistakenly take in it. But that was in fact Esteban Munoz, the 009 car, as we get a replay of what happened. Coming to the checker, Brett Captain in Miami Vice paint scheme for Florida International. They make it through 1 and 2 okay. Side by side, that outside line, higher banking working. Oh, Munoz makes contact with Matthew Nordberg coming off the corner. I think Munoz just came up, wasn't expecting Nordberg to get that run. Jason Wallet hits Kelton Quick. Jake Cummings hits Munoz, gets collected into Jared Kaler, collected into Schulenberger, Ricky Paz, Drew Williams, all involved in that. That's most of my teammates at Orange Wheel Racing, but Clint Halterman manages to get through on the bottom, as does Nick Henley. But a humongous wreck to start early. We got lucky that all those guys just kind of migrated, you know, centrifugal force up to the top as we ride on board with Jake Cummings for a view of the race start and the wreck itself.
Yeah, you can see Garrett Biden didn't get a great start either going in the start-finish line there, but Jake sends it immediately down low, and unfortunately, it's probably, I mean, he wouldn't have fared much better on the top line. You see Esteban Munoz completely sideways. Jake Cummings can't really go anywhere as he slides into that back corner panel of the FIU machine and just absolutely just obliterates that front end. Doesn't, you know, nothing terminal, thankfully, for a lot of these guys, but definitely, you know, repairs are hard to come by when it comes to Bristol just because the pace laps are so short and everyone has to get, you know, back onto the track if they want to stay on the lead lap. It looks like we're ready to go back to green flag as Edward Sanchez. Huge jump again. We don't have any time to think here.
Wow.
Everyone's back racing.
Look at the outside line.
Sorry about that.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, the pace laps are so short here as people are already smacking the wall of 1 and 2. Edward is gone. Muhammad Ali rips the high side. Clears Reese Bayham.
And another caution comes out here. Another one bites the dust here. We talked about it pre-race. It's a survival of the fittest here in the Coliseum, and it doesn't. Oh, I think that's Robbie
That's the
Hotchkiss.
32. That would be Hotchkiss.
He's sideways on the apron.
We're gonna be
on the
watching
backstretch, so
Garrett.
a
Oh,
lot going on so far in the first 8 laps of this, short track. Comparatively, you got 14 seconds really to go around this track during the green flag run, so there's not a lot of time for us to even formulate a sentence.
we're gonna watch
maybe
Garrett
Hotchkiss
fighting.
just self-spun there. We'll get a replay here of what happened.
I believe
This
because
is looking at Garrett Vighton from Arizona State.
he got. Oh yeah, there we go.
Way up there. Oh, Garrett Vighton tags Cade Corbin. They hit the inside wall hard. I hate to rag on my UAH teammate, but I think he should have been a little higher up the track than that. We'll see what the stewards think of that one. But that was an immediate caution. Here we are on board with Garrett again. Let's see if what I thought about my teammate was correct.
Doesn't help Nick Henley up there, up against the
Yeah.
wall, forcing Cabe down. So really, just a bad situation all around the 08. You can see, obviously, gets spun off the front end of the ASU machine. ASU of Garrett Vighton just gets sent to the inside wall hard. And I guess there must have been a domino effect for Robbie Hotchkiss and maybe some others to receive.
We can watch
some
Robbie
damage here.
Hotchkiss real quick.
Yeah, it must have been. I apologize, Cade, for assuming you were in the wrong there. You had to account for Nick Henley being in the fence as we look at Robbie Hotchkiss here. Nothing crazy so far on the outside of Caleb Winslow.
Yeah.
So the wreck
He
happens.
makes wall contact there. Maybe just checking up.
Oh!
to the pace cars. Yeah. I think he
Oh.
just hit the brakes as soon as he came off the banking and he was done for. But as far as that Cade Garrett incident goes, I think it's very possible that from Garrett's cockpit, he literally could not see Nick Henley through Cade Corbin's car. So we'll see what the stewards think about that. I personally think that was just a racing incident, as Robbie Hotchkiss just, I guess, hits the brakes at the wrong time, wrong place. Suffers from it too, unfortunately.
So that was for earlier.
We haven't talked about much going on at the front. I mean, Edward's done a great job of getting great jumps, no matter if he's outside or the inside. And, especially now, it seems like he had that huge jump when he was leading this whole field to the green this last time by. So, he's going to probably try to replicate that again, get that huge start. And he was pretty much, I mean, I don't want to say a full straightaway because I feel like it wasn't that far, but it just felt like he just got such a huge jump that last restart.
Yeah, I think Edward is for sure benefiting from that inside line. It's definitely advantageous into turn one at most tracks. I don't know if Bristol is necessarily that's the case.
Lights
But
out.
still, he controls the restart. He can go when he wants to. As the lights are off on the pace car, I think Edward went early last restart. We'll see if he does the same and is able to get the same gap doing so.
Yeah, I mean, virtue of being the current leader, you get to dictate whenever the field goes, and obviously there's not much of, not much room there for, everyone to predict that, but at the same time, you just got to go when you feel like it, and the outside lane just has to predict it. So Lucas is going to try to get a better start here on the Baruch machine. The 26-13 lineup side by side coming through 3 and 4. Pace car takes that hard left down pit road yet again, and we are back to green here in Bristol.
Edward goes super early in the zone, gets like a 20 car length advantage. As farther back, Muhammad Alif and Lucas Moody go side by side. Lucas Moody benefits from that outside line. Muhammad Alif stays to the inside as Reese Bayham looks to his outside. Alif gives him the room. Not quite there, but I think Bayham is going to get a little farther alongside here as we look at the benefits of those outside lines. I think the drivers running low are thinking about their tires, but the outside line is just where you want to be if you want to pass. Reese Bayham up into third for Auburn University.
And it's the place to be. You saw Zach DeWale almost get to the backside. Ooh, Keegan Kylick gets right beside Zach DeWale. DeWale's able to keep it to the outside. Now zooms right to the outside of Armaham Leaf coming out of 4, going in the 1, and is almost in front of the 12 machine. Gets that run off of turn 2 and is able to clear by a half mile there. As you can see, he is now sole control of that 4th place position. Keegan Kylick sees that happen and is going to try and get around the 12. Don't forget, Muhammad Alif has won here before. He knows how to do it. It's just right now that outside line has the advantage, and that 29, Keegan Kylick, is just getting right alongside and right by the 12 And now it looks like these top about 10 are single file trying to run the same pace, same line, and, you know, keep it consistent. As, you know, we've seen 2 cautions in the first 10 laps. And here I say go again. 3rd caution of the day.
Oh, that's Ethan Decatur. That's a massive pileup on the front straight. Ethan Decatur was involved. I think the number 4 car of Jacob Martin was involved. As we look at Ethan Decatur there. Nick Stockner is crab walking. That's extremely unfortunate for his home race, as these guys who are involved in the wreck try to get it turned around as the leaders come through. Awkward moments here for Grant Schiller and Ethan Decatur. Grant Schiller just decides to tow. But, I mean, we noticed there with the whale around the outside of a leaf. As soon as you clear someone, you want to get down. Take care of those tires. I think the bottom is only slightly slower than the top. The top's where you want to be to
Replay
pass.
Ethan.
As we get a replay of what happened to Ethan Decatur. Hopefully he had the best view of this incident. Rips the high line.
All up on that bumper of Esteban Munoz, but it looks like it's Nick Stockner.
Nick Stockner, I think, was one of the
Grant Schiller was upside down. Holy moly.
I think Nick Stockner and Grant Schiller might have been the beginning of that incident, as the pace car flies through him. Here's a look at Grant Schiller going into turn 3.
Man, I mean, St. Clair currently, you know, obviously single file as it stands there. Oh, the Stockner's already around. Oh, Nick
might have been a
Henley.
Nick solo wreck. That
Nick
might
Henley
have been a
was around
Stockner
too.
solo wreck. If we've got time, I'd love to see what happened to Nick Stockner. That's the field.
Oh.
Brennan Lyman helps Nick out. Nick is not going to be happy
Oh
about
my
this.
God.
He gets
Oh,
piled into
crap.
half the field practically. Yeah, Brennan Lyman, 56th car, University of Colorado Boulder, UC Denver. I think just trying something on the inside line as we ride on board.
Last replay.
You can see, I mean,
Rides in line.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, everyone's just nose to tail there. You see Connor Zabonian going around the outside, and yeah, he just tries to send it in a gap that gets closed by Nick. And unfortunately for both those cars involved, it's, you know, 2 cars fighting for the same place. And right now it looks like the 56 is going to have to receive that end of line penalty for that action there.
That is a deserved penalty for Brennan. I mean, I've said it already. If you want to make a pass here at Bristol, it needs to be to the outside. Nick was blocking, showing that he wasn't going to give Brennan that inside, and he went for it anyways at a track where that's not even what you want. I think Brennan makes the pass happen if he sees the block, notices it, goes to the top, and completes it that way. Just an unfortunate situation for both those guys as the lights are off on the pace car as we get ready for another restart here at Bristol.
Arnie waves that green flag, and away we go. Edward Sanchez gets another great jump. You know, it's ironic to say that's probably the worst out of the 3 so far, as there's only a quarter of a speedway. But now Zach DeWale's ripping that outside on Reese Bayhem in the 519, trying to get to that podium position as it stands. Lucas Moody up there as well, trying to keep the 519 behind, and now will fall to the inside line to try and block anyone behind here.
Yeah, like you said, not the best restart we've seen out of Sanchez today, but he just keeps going early in the zone, and Lucas Moody's, you know, restarting second is hard to do, I'll admit. It's a lot easier if you've got triples here.
Caution.
On board with Keegan Kalick. Another caution. Curious where this happened.
Caleb Winslow, I believe.
I think we're gonna, yeah, it looks like Caleb Winslow down there on the inside. I think we're just getting the usual CIL short track phenomenon of lots of cautions early. People take themselves out as that right front on, yeah, Caleb Winslow's right front is gone. He better tow. I think he's done for the day. I don't even know if he's able to turn. Yep, he tows. He's done. I don't think there's any fixing that car in any reasonable capacity.
Yeah, that is a rough go of things for Caleb. And take a look back here to see what happened to the East Carolina University machine. And, you know, you kind of said it already, Ryan. These short track races do breed cautions, but sometimes we get some great action. Oh, I think it's Kelton Quick involved as well. Take a look back.
Oh, come on.
Caleb Winslow's
There we go.
self-spin, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah, self-spin coming out of turn 2. Loses it, holds the brakes, nearly collects Brandon Schulenberger, skims Brennan Lyman, Kelton Quick slams into him, Drew Williams slams into him, Nathaniel Crone Top side gets involved. Jake Cummings beneath manages to skirt by. It's been a tough
Jacob
day for
Martin's
Drew
number
Williams. I
4.
think he's been involved in 2 out of the 4 cautions so far. Yeah, just loses it on his own there, Caleb Winslow.
Right on board with
I mean, hard to
Drew.
believe that, you know, it's only not even been 30 laps here, but there's a lot of cars currently a lap down. I mean, out of the 39 entrants, currently 27 on the lead lap, and riding on board here with Clemson's Drew Williams. He was trying to battle for a top 10 position in the standings, and you can see he's ripping that outside line, trying to get through to the majority of this field. And you can see Nathaniel Crone, he dives it down underneath, and unfortunately for him, well, not yet at least.
I think it's next corner.
But eventually, Caleb Winslow, you can see him down there
There
on
is.
the apron, hitting that inside wall, and just a
Hey, yeah.
roadblock for these guys down low.
Caleb Winslow got spun like a top with that initial contact. Like, you know, Beyblade, let it rip. Bristol edition. As Drew Williams, like I mentioned, is going to have to come down pit lane, do some damage repair.
27 with the EOL.
And that is Caleb Winslow with the EOL for the self-spin that caused a caution and caused contact. That is a normal rule here in the Collegiate iRacing League College Cup Series. As the lights are off on the pace car, coming down the back straight, getting ready to go green here. Edward Sanchez once again leading him off. Lucas Moody P2.
We have some feisty guys behind Zach DeWale, Reese Bayham, Armahama Leaf. These guys have not left this top 5, and we'll see Edward make that huge jump out of turn 4, get that great start yet again. And then we are green yet again here at Bristol.
Zach DeWale on the inside of Lucas Moody tries to make it stick. That high line advantage early does not stay for Lucas Moody. Zachary DeWale manages to clear him, moves up to P2. Lucas Moody P3, Reese Bayham P4. Farther back in the pack, Keegan Kalick, Ricky Paz, Connor Zabosian are getting all sorts of hairy. Ricky Paz hits the back of Keegan Kalick. I think that's Ben Neller looking underneath Ricky Paz. Doesn't get it done. They're still side by side here, a few laps after the restart.
Right now, Kettering, hits the outside walls. It looks like the 11 is slow up top. Oh, jeez, that's a lot of
Carter
contact.
Capini can barely hold on to his car. I don't know how much damage he's got. They make it through without a yellow. That's a miracle, practically. Andrew Burrell, Cade Corbin already back there, getting lapped, I think. Ricky Paz makes the outside work around Ben Neller. Connor Zabosian tries to do the same.
Right
Gets
now,
the run. Ben Neller's going to still barely be there going into turn 3. I think Zabosian gets it done coming off this corner. And he does.
And you can see who's lurking right there. Daniel Nanny currently sitting in 12th, going for 11th, but looking to the outside of Ben Neller, gets that spot. And he is making his way up through the field. I mean, I know there's been a lot of cautions, but he has definitely benefited from a lot of these guys having to take a trip down pit road, and now looks to the inside of Connor Zabosian. Does a great job to get that nose in front, but Zabosian's going to get that run down the backstretch. And now Daniel Nanny's going to have to try and do something with that inside line. Not the preferred line at this moment, but he's making it at least work side by side, keeping it nose to nose. Kettering versus Ball State, as the 72 is able to get clear of the 30, and now potentially looked at to the outside of Ricky Paz, but was not able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, like we've said many times, if you want to pass, you got to be at the outside here on Bristol. But I do definitely think that Connor Zabosian, Ricky Paz, those guys who are holding on to the outside line, as I think Lucas Moody has just passed Zachary DeWale farther up in the field. He sure has. I think Lucas Moody has been using the inside lane more than DeWale today, and DeWale might be already facing consequences. 39 laps into this race. Admittedly, a lot of them yellow, but you know, the more and more you use your tires early in the stint, the more and more you feel them later in the stint. And, you know, that might be unfolding here right now.
Gonna replay the pass.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're looking back here at the pass for second. Lucas Moody using that outside line, but able to keep the momentum, get to the inside of the 519, do a little switcheroo down, going into 3, able to keep enough momentum to just slide right up in front of the 519. The 519 can't really do anything about that. Obviously, he could have tried to go back to that lower line, but he definitely did not have the momentum to try and do anything, and probably would have lost out on third, which he's currently battling with Reese Bayham for.
As they're side by side, coming out of turn 4. That was a great move by Lucas Moody. I don't know if I've ever seen an over-under work at Bristol. Reese Bayham clears Zachary DeWale. Looks back to the inside. Reese misses it just a hair. They're going to keep running in the order they are. As a little farther back, Ricky Paz starts to get a little closer to Muhammad Ali. Not close enough to make a pass yet, as everybody, I do believe, is running single file on that bottom to a lane off the bottom. Daniel Nanny is right on the bumper of Matthew Nordberg for 10th. His charge through the field has stalled a little bit as Ricky Paz looks to the inside of a leaf. Daniel Nanny stays in line with Matthew Nordberg, who is on the bumper of Clint Alterman up ahead from UNC Charlotte.
Obviously, I mean, we've already seen it so far this race. It's hard to drive here at Bristol. You might think it's, just a little, seems like just everyone just, consistently driving it into each corner and keeping it, just fast pace in and out of these turns. But, there's a lot of lift off. Oh, you can see he makes
contact with Nordberg. Hits him again. That's a penalty.
Oh,
that's, yeah. I can already imagine how the stewards are going to look at that. I mean, Nanny tags Nordberg, and Nordberg almost saves it. I don't think that would have been anything in particular. Nordberg drives through the pace car. But, I mean, Nordberg gets loose. Nanny just stays in it. I don't know how much he checks up. Only real way to know is if we ride on board with him. But, yeah, that 076 machine gets spun around with quite a lot of assistance.
Yeah, we're going to do an on-board with Nanny.
And, all the drivers were told earlier today, bumps and runs can work, but you got to make sure the car in front of you obviously doesn't get turned around as an effect. And riding on board here with the 30, Daniel Nanny from Ball State, we talked about him making his way through the field. And really, I mean, once he got to this top 10, he was battling a little bit and maybe battling a little too hard. Just gets the left corner panel of the 076, sends him into the inside wall.
Nanny just carries more speed through the center of the corner. Meanwhile, Nordberg is probably out of the gas trying to save it, and that secondary contact you saw is what led to the incident. I mean, we'll see what the stewards think of it. There it is, car 30 EOL plus another strike for Daniel Nanny. Just rolls more speed through the center, makes contact. Nordberg's got it saved, and then he doesn't. I mean, I don't disagree with that steward's decision. Just unfortunate as Nanny's charge through the field is halted after that contact with Matthew Nordberg.
Unfortunately, I mean, Nordberg got stuck behind the pace car there, and everyone else is now coming down pit road. Everyone getting some new, fresh tires as everyone's pretty much 50 laps into the set, but a little cooler as you see Edward Sanchez winning the battle off pit road. Reese Bayham closely behind. Reese able to get up to second position through that whole ordeal. And,
Must be for Reese.
Yeah,
that was for him.
Yeah, amazing. It's a very slept-on attribute of oval racing, but that pit stop, procedures, just making sure you hit the box at the right point, getting enough speed and everything like that is very slept on to winning some of these races. Reese Bayham doing a great job of that. And, everyone's getting double filed here, Ryan, and just like that, we're about 2 laps from the green.
These cautions are quick. We are just over a quarter of the way through this race. That's why those guys were all pitting, I presume, on lap 50. I don't know how many tire sets they've got.
5.
But if it's 3 sets of tires, lap 50 is exactly when you want to pit. How many tires have they got, Producer Christian?
They have 5, including their starting tire.
They've got 5, including, so they start and then they have 5 more to use. So 50 laps in, I mean, they still have 4 to go after this. Absolutely no reason not to pit. Especially under that yellow. We'll see what kind of a restart Edward Sanchez gets on those fresh tires. I mean, it looked like as the run went on and on and on, his restarts weren't as good, but I don't know if that's a product of the tires or just, Lucas Moody to his outside most of the time, knowing when Sanchez was going to go. As we get a look at Edward Sanchez with the Yankee hat, getting ready to restart here at Bristol.
And he's done a great job so far, but now he's got someone new to his outside. Auburn's Reese Bayham is going to try and take his battle with the 26 as they come through 3 and 4. Pace car back down pit road. Barney with green flag in hand. Edward Sanchez gets just a great shot out of the start. And actually, Reese Bayham does a great job to stay behind going into turn 1.
Ooh, Doyle and Moody make contact, but like you said, only being 1 or 2 car lengths behind Edward with how his restarts have gone is a good showing. Doyle makes the outside work on Lucas Moody, looks to the inside of Reese Bayham, doesn't quite get there. As farther back, I think someone just went to the outside of Lucas Moody. Connor Zabosian rips it around the outside, gets Lucas Moody cleared in a matter of 2 corners. Impressive restart from Connor Zabosian. As he gets to the bumper of Zach DeWale, they almost make contact. Ricky paws around the outside of Lucas Moody, bumps Zabosian. I don't know if I've seen bump drafting at Bristol before, but we're seeing it now here, folks. Keegan Kalick around the outside of Lucas Moody. Lucas is hurting on that inside line. I mean, he's taking the most care of his tires, but clears himself on Clint Halterman a little bit. This is going to be taking care of his tires the most, but he's just getting freight trained by guys using that outside lane. On new tires, that's when the advantage is the greatest for the outside. Andrew Williams.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, goes to the inside of Lucas Moody. That was impressive. If he gets this move done, I'm going to be blown away.
Nah.
Doesn't quite.
Yeah, right as you say that, Moody's able to use that outside line, keep the momentum, and get past the 100. Now he's fallen into somewhat of a line where he can stay within the top 10 for a moment there.
Ooh, and I think someone has spun farther back in the field. I think that was Nick Stockner once again. He might have kept it straight. We don't get a yellow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see any of the slow speeds either.
Well, it seems like he's able to keep it at least somewhat off of the racing line as iRacing has kept it green going in here. And you can see now things are starting to settle out. But a couple of guys like Ricky Paz, Connor Zabosian, I think are looking towards these fresh tires as an opportunity to try and pass some people on these early starts or early parts of these restarts. As you see a battle now between Lucas Moody, Drew Williams, again going into turn 1. Drew Williams on the inside, Lucas Moody to the outside. Moody has that preferred line, and Drew's going to try to use the inside yet again. Doing a great job of keeping alongside and just 2 inches away from that left corner panel of the 13, but the 13 is going to get the great run going into turn 3 to keep that 8th position. And, you know, we're keeping it pretty close right now within this top 10, and, you know, especially everyone up towards the front. Edward Sanchez only has a 0.2 of a second gap back to Reese Bayham now.
Yeah, I think Drew wasn't going to get that pass done on the inside anytime soon. And I'm going to knock on wood here, but we've had some good racing here after that restart. The amount of cautions has gone down significantly. Let me knock on wood again. But impressive for Connor Zabosian. I definitely want to shout out. He is up 26 spots as Lucas Moody looks to the outside of Clint Halterman. I think Lucas has decided to use that outside lane a little bit more for the time being. Clint sticking to the bottom, sticking to his guns. Zabosian up 26 spots, currently running 3rd. Ricky Paz up 13, currently running 5th. Lucas Moody starts to put a little bit of a gap on Clint Halterman, as I think farther up ahead, Ricky Paz is getting pressured just a bit by Keegan Taylor.
And these guys, you can see a lot of these guys up a lot of positions. Connor Zabosian, we've talked about, but Logan Smith currently in 12th, started 34th, up 22 positions. Ben Neller, Michael James, Ricky Paz, as we also said, all of these guys, some big movers in the early third of this race. As you can see, it's now as the caution is out. I believe Jake Cummings around.
Yeah, looked like someone low. I think that is Jake Cummings. Stopped before turn 1.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened to him.
Ooh,
not the type of thing we expect out of Jake Cummings. I believe he's currently sitting 3rd in point standing, so not what he wants. Almost gets collected by, I think, Nick Stockner there, as Jake turns it around. See if we can get a replay. What happened? That right front fender looks a little beat up.
Replay coming.
Here's the replay.
You can see the 9 Michael
Jack
James.
Wilson to his outside.
My bad.
Ooh.
Ooh, brutal. Yeah, hard contact. Jake actually gets away with not hitting the inside wall that hard.
We'll go.
Jack Wilson just didn't track out all the way.
On board.
We're all on board.
I mean, the 9, you could just see not leaving a lot of room really at all for the 95, and there's just clean racetrack in front of him. I thought we were looking at the wrong replay with how much clean track was in front of him here at Bristol, but you could see a lot of guys behind getting by, but the 95 just sending it ever so slightly into that inside wall, and it seemed like he got a lot more damage from, well, probably those earlier incidents he was involved in. And also one thing that's tricky about Bristol is just trying to get back onto the racing surface because there's just so many cars coming by, especially with almost a full field tonight.
Yeah, this isn't Darlington. You don't have a Walmart parking lot's worth of track to turn yourself around before you're facing the racing line. Cars coming the other way. As yeah, car 9 gets an EOL plus a strike for that avoidable contact. Like I said, just does not track up like he should. As the car on the outside, you're almost obligated to track out to the wall on exit. That's what most people expect you to do. That's the fastest thing to do. So Jack Wilson gets penalized for not doing so. As we get a view back on the pace car of our leaders.
Let's do an onboard restart with Edward Sanchez, like a rear-facing camera.
And, you know, this time by someone who's been in view of the pace car pretty much, well, yeah, every time, you know, a restart has happened. Edward Sanchez, we're going to jump on board, actually, with the 26 for this restart and just show you what it's like to get a jump here from the front. You can see just all these hungry cars behind him, but, you know,
Edward's smile.
Yeah, I was going to say, he is definitely
he
not disturbed.
He likes controlling this race. He doesn't want it any other way. That's the focus face right there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Zone now. He's gone. Focus face working.
And I mean, it's been working all night as he gets another great jump going into turn 1, and you can see just the gap he pulls going in through 2, and now going into 3. It's almost 4 or 5 car lengths back as Zachary DeWale's trying to rip the outside to Reese Bayham, but Reese is going to be able to close that chance off. And now DeWale's going to try the other way around, looking to the inside of the 334. Edward Sanchez, right now, you can see he is focused on just, you know, running his line, keeping those tires cool, keeping them at least usable. And, yeah, I mean, these guys, yet again, trying to just do anything they can to keep up with Edward. But right now, you can see just the calamity as another caution comes out here.
Oh, my God.
I'm not sure who that was for.
Riley Birkins towed.
We're looking at Keegan Kalick. I'm hearing Riley Birkins was responsible for that call.
I just know he towed. No, I'm not saying responsible.
31 car. He's in the pits. Don't know if that's necessarily true. We'll try to get a replay, see what happened. I see Brennan Lyman dropping down the order there. Looking at Keegan Kalick. He's got a little bit of damage. I think Keegan hit the wall a couple times, but I don't think he had anything to do with that caution. His car's just a little bit beat up. We've got a replay here.
Definitely Riley's
Birkins.
involved.
Ooh, a bit before the wreck happens. Going back a bit more behind Daniel Nanny. Gets tagged by Ethan Decatur and just doesn't hold on to it. Tags Brandon Schulenberger. Nick Stockner barely avoids. Jason Wallet gets collected. Brendan Lyman gets hit hard. Yeah, I'm not sure how the stewards are going to rule that one because Ethan Decatur came up a hair, but not much. I mean, there was still, I think, less than a car width to the bottom of the track.
And I also feel like there might have been a little bit of net code, at least from what my eyes saw. We're looking here at Nick Stockner, who was also involved, that beautiful 124 paint scheme here tonight, and unfortunately has been in some of these early incidents, and you can see the 31 around and just it's enough. Oh, wow. I was able to save it. Never mind.
I don't think Nick's going to be too upset about that one. I mean, he's certainly been on screen a lot tonight with that nice new paint scheme. Not for the reasons he would have hoped for, but right on board here with Brennan Lyman from UC Denver. If the wreck happens, I think the next lap.
That should be coming right here, I think.
I know he pile drives the
Sorry about that.
The caution-causing car. As the stewards rule, cars 111 and 31, Ethan Decatur. Jason Wallet smacks Riley Birkins. Brennan lifted Jason up in the air. Yeah, I think Brennan might be done for the day. That car has seen better days. As he almost comes out in front of the field. Holy crap. That would have been a slam dunk if he did that. Thank goodness he towed. But as the stewards rule, cars 111 and 31, Ethan Decatur, Riley Birkins, that is no penalty. That is net code. Like I speculated, yeah, Brennan not too happy about that one. Sitting, fixing his damage in his Kyle Busch M&M's jersey. Oh, look at that, Christian. Producer
Yeah.
a little shout out for you on that Coke bottle, buddy. Brennan is sharing a Coke with you. Well, not the reason he would have wanted to be on broadcast, but a producer shout out nonetheless. Are the lights out on the pace car? They're double file.
Yeah, I'm jumping.
Yep,
there we go.
Here we go. Take it away, Brad.
Well, the 26 yet again, but ooh, almost. I thought it was going to be side by side for once, but the 26 still able to get in front of the 334. Back green racing here. Zach DeWales looking to the inside of Reese Bayham. Bayham able to keep it to the outside. Keegan Kalick also there, trying to take advantage of anything he can, but right now these two battling out for second have stopped his progress. Clint Halterman now into the top 5, using that outside line very well on Connor Zabosian, who was using the outside line great, but now that inside line is forcing him back outside the top 6. So you see Reese Bayham able to keep that second position. Keegan Kalick is now to the outside of the 519, going into turn 1, coming through turn 2, is going to have that momentum, and Clint Halterman's going to try and follow him up. It is just a train of cars going around the outside of the 519 right now. He was just about battling for second, now battling for 5th and falling outside, potentially the top 5 if Ricky Paz doesn't let him up in.
Clint Halterman just barely clears Zachary DeWale there. I think we're witnessing something that I frankly expected to happen later in the race as Zach DeWale gets the run on Clint. Teammate decided not to fit a car width in a hole that's less than a car width wide, hits the wall, still gets beside Clint. Clint holds on to the bottom, DeWale holds on to the top. I think DeWale's going to have him cleared coming out of this next corner here. I mean, he's practically got him cleared going into the corner as we have another caution on the racetrack.
Jason Wallet is 4X.
Broadcast just yet.
Nordberg Shaw.
Jason Wallet.
Wesley Shaw also involved. It looks like Matt Norberg also potentially involved as well. Yet another chain reaction that gets a lot of guys involved in this one.
I mean, I was going to say before that caution came out, I think we're witnessing a little sooner than I expected as we get a replay here. Norberg, Wesley Shaw, Logan Smith. Quality cars that didn't qualify very well starting to find their way up. Nordberg side by side with Wesley Shaw. Wesley Shaw just clears himself.
Oh.
And what?
We gotta watch that one. Hold on.
All right, I would love an onboard of Jason Wallet there because that I think was a little bit of a coming into turn 3 here.
Nah, it's next turn.
Probably the next.
And just
Jason. Jason. Oh my goodness. I mean, he's not had a great day already. That's only adding insult to injury for him. Yeah, Wesley Shaw just clears himself up on Matthew Nordberg. Here we are on Matthew Nordberg's on board. Yeah,
next.
Wesley almost does it the corner prior. And does it real bad here. Yep. I know exactly what happened. He got a clear call from his spotter and moved up accordingly, but did not have half an eyeball on his mirror expecting the run. He thought he had the move done, but the run from the outside lane said otherwise.
And it's so hard to be aggressive here at Bristol just because of that. Like, you literally get that clear call, and the guy could be half a car length back, but if he has that outside lane momentum, he's going to be able to keep it in, at least engaged in that battle. So you can see the 73 Wesley Shaw obviously sitting in the pits, upset about what just happened there, and obviously that's probably going to take him out of any type of contention here of the win today. But there's a lot of guys still a lap down currently, 21 cars on the lead lap, and there's still a lot of opportunity to get some good points if you're some of these guys that need them.
Yeah, I mean, we still have over half the race to go, and if all this chaos has happened in one lap, or excuse me, in less than half the race, imagine what can happen in another over half. As Wesley Shaw gets the penalty, EOL plus a strike for clearing himself on Matthew Nordberg. Tough day for that Texas A&M, Texarkana machine. Let's see if Edward Sanchez gets those restarts we've seen out of him all day as the pace car pulls into pit lane.
Reese Bayham's going to try and do something this time by Edward Sanchez. Yet again, getting a great jump, able to clear himself here, going into turn 1. Yeah, that's probably the best one he's seen in a couple cautions, and he's had practice at least getting these restarts. And somebody hits the wall hard back there. I don't know who that was, but it looks like they absolutely clobbered that. Logan
almost
Smith.
3 wide.
Oh! No.
Pushing the envelope there. Drew Williams backing out of that one, keeping it civil, keeping it too wide as some more wall contact you can see there. And just, again, now Daniel Nanny back up to the back bumper of Matthew Norberg. We've seen this happen before, but now Brandon Schoenberger to the outside of Ben Neller. And everyone using that outside lane trying to get all the speed. And now another caution as someone's around back there.
Good grief.
Oh, it's
Matthew
Nordberg.
Nordberg. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You know,
I
I'm
know
hoping.
I know a certain championship leader was right behind Nordberg before that caution came out.
You know, I really hope we don't see the mirror effect happen here.
I hope that's not on Nanny either. I do not want to see that.
Uh,
Nordberg's day might be done. I
ooh.
think he's smoking, or at the very least his radiator's busted.
It might have been with him. Give me a minute.
Right front is broken. Uh-oh. Let's see what happened here. We can get a replay.
On board
but
with
yeah,
Matt.
Nordberg's right
Oh.
front's done.
Oh,
Smack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Tags Andrew Burrell, not Burrell.
oh no.
Slow-mo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what? You know
That's
what?
not. Yeah.
I think that's netcode. Or
I think a little bit of, yeah, definitely. I think netcode primarily, but it
anything
looks like the
Nordberg comes
076.
down.
Yeah, the 76 doesn't really leave much room for the 30, who had a nose
Yeah.
in there. I mean, it's not like Daniel Nanny was jumping the gun to get into that inside lane. He
Yeah.
had the room. He took an opportunity, and I think the 76 just, I think, tried to ride him a little close and too close for comfort, obviously.
I mean, Nanny isn't super alongside, but he makes the bottom of the corner
Oops.
for sure. I don't think it's this corner. But yeah, I mean, he's ripping that yellow line. Having no problems. He did not wash up whatsoever. He's there, and he's only barely off the yellow line. Nordberg, before they even make contact, doesn't have a car width between himself and the yellow. I'm not putting that one on Daniel Nanny, guys. I know last time he and Nordberg were together, that was pretty slam dunk for Daniel Nanny, but if I had to give a penalty to anyone, it would be to Nordberg there, and he gets so. EOL plus a strike for Matthew Nordberg, avoidable contact coming down. Right on board with Andrew Burrell here. Just a helpless bystander, really. As Nanny goes to the inside of Nordberg. Nordberg tank slap.
Oof.
Flies down into Burrell.
Oh no.
Does Burrell hit anything?
Nope. Saves it. Nice.
He does not.
Oh no.
Cade! I want to see an onboard of Cade Corbin if we can. I think we have a while before the restart.
No.
Rewind. 08 car, my teammate. Come on, Cade. You need to be making me proud. I'm in the booth tonight, Cade. I'm not getting UAH any points. What are you doing? We're on the outside of Roger Primo. I don't even know if that was for position.
All the craziness happening up there, and no, he's just sending it.
Goodness. Okay, you know what? I would have done the same thing. As we are green. We're green flag racing. I think Edward gets the same restart he has been all night. Yep, so we didn't miss that. Good restart for Edward once again. Jack the Whale P2.
Ed Will's able to get that position now in the second place. Reese Bayham not having that great of start, realizing it. And now in third position, we have a lot of battling in another caution.
And another yellow.
Ben Neller around.
Do we have a caution counter?
Ryan, when you said earlier, you know, you have to survive here. Bristol, I think right now this race is proving pretty much if you're not part of any caution so far, you're probably in the top 10.
Yeah, and I think me knocking on wood earlier did not work. That must be fake wood or something, because I said that as we get more and more cautions early in the race, the field's going to thin out. Our caution count's going to reduce, but clearly that has not happened. As we're at the halfway point. Here we go, looking at Ben Neller. They're 3 wide. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Huge wreck. People pile into Drew Williams. That was Logan Smith, Drew Williams, and Ben Neller who were 3 wide there. I don't know if I'm putting the blame on anyone for that yet. As we look at it in slow-mo.
I mean,
yeah, Ben comes up just a little bit. Arguably, Drew could have been a little bit lower, but I mean, if I'm making reaches like that I need to stretch for, then I don't know if that's a penalty, as most of the field is into the pit lane here.
Ooh, Muhammad Leaf gets a hard hit as well in this. Nick Stockner gets tagged. Oh, the 34's wheel comes off because of Nick Stockner's hit.
Good grief. Yeah, I don't know if I'm putting that on anybody, guys. Oh, Brennan. Okay. Brennan, why are you up there? First of all. Logan Smith tries to get it pointed the right way. Love to see how the drivers emerged after that pit stop.
Oh, yeah, we'll.
On board with Pete Stockner. See what happened to him first before we reach the post-pit stop positions. Post-pit stop positions. Say that 3 times fast.
Definitely a
Huge
tongue
rat.
twister.
Oh,
see-
Nick just barely gets tagged by Logan Smith. He almost avoids that. Ethan Decatur beneath him. Gets away with it.
Man, oh man. Well, I mean, this pit stop, it looks like has caused a little bit of a shake-up
Yeah.
at the front here, as we
Good
have
grief.
Clint Halterman, Daniel Nanny, your top two. We've seen them battle it out for the lead, but on alternative strategy right now compared
They
to a
both
majority
stayed
of the
out.
field. Oh boy.
Clint Halterman and Daniel Nanny have both stayed out. The highest car on new tires is Jared Kaler in 3rd. Edward Sanchez in 4th. So I thought Edward must have had a bad pit stop, but he's still... Yeah, I think Edward's leading on this strategy. No, he's 2nd on the strategy he's on. So Jared Kaler did manage to get by him in the pit, but... Oof, I am very curious to see how this works for Clint Halterman and Daniel Nanny. Daniel Nanny has done 31 laps on those tires. Clint Halterman 14, so at least between those two, Clint's got the advantage. But, I mean, they have guys with fresh tires right behind them. Although, Clint's probably quite happy to see his teammate Jared Kaler behind him, at least in row. As there we see Matthew Norberg gets the EOL and a strike for that contact with Daniel Nanny. That was a few laps ago.
There's
Mentioned
this
it
most
earlier.
recent one, I think.
And, yep, Ben Neller, Logan Smith, and Andrew Williams ruled a racing incident. It's just tough to go through out at Bristol. I think that was the right call. Lights are off on the pace car, Brad.
Yeah, UNC Charlotte's got that inside line of row 1 and 2, but now Daniel Nanny back to the front on older tires compared to everyone behind. It's going to be a hungry hippo here, type of field here as the top two are going to try and battle out. Clint Halterman gets a great jump, and he's going to need everything he can to keep himself in front of everyone going on here going into turn 1. Daniel Nanny, I think it's a little bit of a bump from the 26, and he's able to keep that 2nd position now.
I mean, that's the jump Clint wants. He wants to see everybody pounce on Daniel Nanny's old tires before they get to him and address his. Ricky Paz around the outside of Jared Kaler. Zachary DeWale looking to do the same. Looks like he's going to get it done here. Jared Kaler might have gotten a little tight in the corner. Reese Bayham looks to go to the outside of Jared Kaler. We're definitely witnessing the first few laps of a restart here. The outside is just so good before the tires really start to get some heat and some wear into them. Jared Kaler is just falling like a rock on that inside line. As Clint Halterman and Daniel Nanny retain P1 and P2, Edward Sanchez less than 2/10 behind. Edward Sanchez side by side with Daniel Nanny, smacks the crap out of the wall.
Sorry about that.
Still side by side. I'm surprised his car's not damaged.
And I mean, to his
He's got him
defense,
cleared.
yeah, hasn't had the battle lane one really all day today. The first time he's had to really drive past someone using that outside line and definitely met the wall there. So now the 26 in 2nd position looking back through the field as Ricky Paz is now trying to pull through going into that 3rd position. We currently have Ricky Paz in 3rd. Daniel Nanny trying to battle to the inside is going to clear himself up into the 4th position. And Zachary DeWale's going to try
Edward
to do anything.
Sanchez outside of Clint Halterman.
Oh,
We were on an inconvenient camera view for that.
Sorry
one.
about that.
He gets it done around the outside.
And he gets fastest
I
lap.
feel like he missed much. Outside passes are, they all generally look the same at Bristol, but gets it done. As Ricky Paz on those fresh tires looks to do the same. Those fresh tires are working for these guys. Clint Halterman, I think, is going to have to do a lot of tire saving if he's going to get these guys back anytime soon.
Ricky Paz from East Carolina. I mean, we saw him podium earlier this season. He's now got his eyes set on the 26 and potentially a win here at Bristol, but we still got 90 laps to go, just over halfway here at the Coliseum. And, there's a lot that can happen if the early stages have already told us. We have another yellow come out.
Brennan Lyman.
Brennan Lyman involved in a lot today, it seems like so far.
Oop.
Unfortunately for the 56, he's going to have to get that thing towed back to pit road. The University of Colorado Denver car and Roger Primo also involved sideways on the track. Everyone taking evasive maneuvers here too.
Yeah, Roger Primo just doing the smart thing, keeping it stopped there on the bottom of the track, letting everybody go by before he rolls back and gets the thing turned back around. Another yellow as we're just past the halfway point. Quite a chaotic race so far. It's exactly what we thought it would be, but maybe it's even over-delivering in that department.
Yeah, it's a Coliseum. Everyone's supposed to battle it out here, but obviously a lot of these battles are getting way too physical, and you can see, well, the teammates right there, but obviously you can see the 56 Brendan Lyman. Oh, the teammates get into it here. Turn each
Oh, and
other
Brennan
around.
just loses it trying to dodge it. We'll do a replay. We'll do an onboard of this, and then we're gonna do Brennan.
Man, oh man. We're gonna ride on board here. You know, we had a lot going on today, and to say, you know, the 88 and 11 collecting each other was, as Cutter Copini hits the wall hard, sends his teammate around, Roger Primo. And, you know, these two obviously are going to have to take it back to the pit road to get their damages cleared, as you see the 56 now taking onboard coverage with him. He's able to clear the initial craziness, but just loses it on the apron. Some sparks fly, and he's going to send it back up into turn 3 and 4, I believe, and, you know, able to save it. Just
Oh,
the
my
pace
goodness.
car, if it was not a ghost, it would have also affected the 56.
That was not a pace car. That was a space shuttle. He flew through Brendan Lyman there. Just in foul here. Bucky Paz P2. That's a good result for him. Edward Sanchez qualified second, so if anything, he's running where he'd expect to be after a Daniel Nanny EOL. As there we go, car 11, Carter Capini given an EOL for that avoidable contact with his teammate Roger Primo. That is brutal. See if Edward Sanchez gets those same quality restarts on Ricky Paz.
Well, I mean, Edward Sanchez has a close friend in Ricky Paz to his outside, but is Ricky going to have anything for the Baruch machine when it comes to that start-finish line? No one has really gotten a great jump on the 26. They've been able to keep it behind them, but really, I mean, if the 19 has any say in it, he's going to have to try and keep it to the outside into turn 1. We'll see if he can do just that. Pace car back down pit road, and we have a great restart by the 26, but the 19 gets a huge jump as well. Able to keep it somewhat on the outside, but the 26 is just going to power through. And now Clint Halterman takes sole possession of third, and Zach DeWale fourth, as Reese Bayham and Connor Zabosian battle it out for fifth.
That is the best restart we have seen from a second-place driver all day. Ricky Paz knew Edward Sanchez was going to go early, and he never loses anything more than 2 car lengths. Clint Halterman on those older tires still holding strong in third. Keegan Kalick and Lucas Moody a little farther back get into it as Keegan Kalick looks to the outside of Reese Bayham, Auburn University. Doesn't quite get the pass done here, but he's going to get the run off the corner. Reese Bayham does the smart thing, does not clear himself. I think Zachary DeWale might have touched the wall a little bit. Here we look at Keegan Kalick. He's got a real nice setup. I'm jealous of that. And I just got a new one, and I'm still jealous of it. Looks to the inside as a Zabosian. Not going to get it done there.
Yeah, Ryan, you've touched on it a lot. I mean, this inside line is, you know, it's great for keeping your tires cool and keeping them safe, but, like, you know, a lot of these guys you can see ripping the outside. Connor Zabosian, we've definitely seen him use that outside line all night, getting by everyone. And Clint Halterman, as Reese Bayham powers his way through on the outside of Keegan Kalick right now.
Hello.
Going to try and take that 7th position away, and you can see Keegan slides right up to the outside, and was going to look to the inside of the 334 again as the 07 is going to try and check up a little bit of contact potentially between 29 334, and it is just always something happening here between someone in the top 10 here. As the 334 just grinds the wall to try and get alongside Clint Halterman. Halterman doing everything he can to try and stay within these top 10 with those older tires, and now Keegan Kalick is going to stay behind the 007.
Ricky Paz is as close as he's been to Edward Sanchez all day. He's making Edward come up higher off the yellow line than I think Edward would like to. I don't know if that's necessarily the long game play by Ricky, using that higher line to make Edward do so, because Ricky's tires are only going to be worse and worse and worse. But, I mean, you know, he's clearly, Edward sees him. Edward's thinking about Ricky, and I think that might be all Ricky is aiming for. I mean, this is just speculation, but I think if anything at the restart, running that higher line with the steeper banking puts more load into the tires. You're literally putting more force into them. So that might actually heat them up quicker. That might be why on restarts we're seeing the outside line work so well until as the tires get some heat, then that inside line starts to work once the tires actually make some grip and you're not so worried about how much load you're putting into them to get tire temperature. Ricky Paz falls back in line. The challenge stalls for the moment.
And just as you say that, Ricky slightly looks to the outside of the 26, but is not able to keep the run. It looks like behind Zach DeWale's trying to run that high line to catch up to these two, which he is, but obviously using a lot of tire to do so, as you see a lot of single file action now, as both of these guys in the top two running it high, and Zachary DeWale doing the opposite. It seems like Zach's just running the opposite line of these two, it seems like, in every line. And as I say that, he falls in line with the top two, and now pulling away from, you know, fourth place in Connor Zabozzi. And only a second here at Bristol is, you know, a 14th of the track, as it takes 14 seconds to get around this thing. So a lot of these guys gonna, you know, potentially, if a green flag run happens, potentially some lead lap or lap traffic could come into effect.
I just want to mention a little bit farther back, Andrew Burrell is falling pretty hard. Clint Halterman actually has the oldest tires of the field. He's currently in 9th. He restarted, what, 3rd? And he's done 44 laps on those tires. He is falling back. Daniel Nanny has got some of the newest tires of the field. He has made his way up into 6th place. He's only done 18 laps on those tires, whilst the entirety of the top 5 has done 32 laps. I imagine Daniel Nanny, during one of those yellows, went ahead, took that extra set of tires, and he is currently reaping the benefits. Like we said, 5 sets of tires for this race, when most of these guys are stopping every 50 laps. That gives you 2 extra to work with, and Nanny, I think, is using those to great effect.
You can see he's trying to make the inside work here on the inside of Reese Bayhem for a top 5 position, able to power through and clear the 334. That was a great move by the 30. He's getting a little loose coming out of the turn, but no matter what, he's keeping that 5th position away from Auburn University, and now setting his sights on Connor Zabozzi. And you can see those tires 15 laps fresher, meaning he's able to make that bottom line work with ease, as the 30 has his mind set towards the front. He's still got about a second and a half up to the top 2. As you can see, they're all single file trying to just keep their tires cool. And now the 30, you know, it's crazy to say, but obviously after 2 EOL penalties, he is back here in the top 5 looking for a podium position.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, 2 EOLs. If this race stays green, there's basically no way it does. But if this race stays green, it is advantage Daniel Nanny for sure. He's got 14 lap fresher tires than most of the field, working his way up there, and they're working through traffic. I'd love to take a look at DeWale or Ricky Paz here. Oh, lots of traffic. I think that's Michael James. That's Jake Cummings, who is not where he wants to be. Zabozian has gone to the back of Zach DeWale. Wesley Shaw is back there. I think that's Carter Capini. Excuse me, Roger Primo, the 88 car. These guys are having to weave their way through traffic. Jake Cummings, I imagine, is not all too pleased about getting lapped. Zach DeWale looks to the inside of Ricky Paz. Doesn't quite get it done.
And I think Ricky Paz's car is a little upset, as you can see Zach DeWale just powered to the outside. Gets a little loose coming out of 3 and keeping that of 2, I mean, and going into 3 now with that second place position. Ricky Paz, I mean, that was a quick battle. That was just Zachary DeWale absolutely powering it through the 19 machine from ECU. And now Connor Zabozian and Daniel Nanny potentially on the chopping block here to try and get past the ECU machine. Connor Zabozian going to take that look to the outside, up against that wall, trying to use every inch he can. The 19 closes the door, and now the 30 is going to look to the inside of the 72. The 72 is definitely not going to be pleased with that, but he did everything he could to try and get momentum, and 19 shut the door just like that. And now the 72 might have a little bit of a look, but right now it's a battle for 4th between Daniel Nanny and Connor Zabozian. Zabozian having that preferred line, but burning more tires. Everyone's up on that high side line.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point, but Ricky Paz, I think, was running the high line a little bit more than Edward Sanchez was, and that just puts more load into the tire. As Keegan Kalick goes around the outside of Lucas Moody sticks basically to the inside. Nanny and Zabozian still side by side. 3 wide there for a moment with Capini. Zabozian on the bumper of Ricky Paz. Ricky Paz is doing everything he can to keep these guys behind him. I think the outside line is only going to wear his tires more and more and more. But, I mean, they're already worn. He basically has no choice but to run the line that he thinks is going to keep this position.
And meanwhile, Zach DeWale for a split sec was able to get back to the back bumper of Edward Sanchez, but now has lost it. As you see, still this battle ever long going. These two can't get away because Ricky Paz is just blocking everything he can to try and make sure no one gets by him. And now the 30's kind of fed up with it, using that inside line, the fresh tires, able to keep it alongside of the 19. The 19 is not going to be able to block the 30 this time, as the 30's powering through on that bottom line up to the third place position, getting that podium position. Now set his eyes on the top two is Ethan Decatur. You can see a lap car there just trying to run it out as well, and everyone just trying to do what they can. But I mean, Zachary DeWale right now in second position seems like he's the faster car between him and Edward Sanchez, as he hasn't looked to the outside.
Yeah, Zach DeWale's extremely good on these short track type of tracks. He only ran one race in the short track. Excuse me, I forgot what the name of that was called.
Short Track Showdown.
Showdown. He only ran one race in the Short Track Showdown, and he won it by a wide margin. So clearly that short track prowess is showing itself here tonight on Edward Sanchez. He's working him. He's doing what he can. I think Edward isn't going to make it easy on DeWale. Edward has been, frankly, the dominant car all night. But this is going to be worth watching for sure, as DeWale looks to the high side, tries to get that run. He's able to get to Edward's bumper, but just isn't able to complete the pass. I think if DeWale can maintain some overlap mid-corner, he'll get it done, as Esteban Munoz 009 FIU car gets out of the way for them nicely.
You know, these guys are using that high line and burning up some tire, and unfortunately, like a shark in the water, they see Daniel Nanny behind. Whoa, Ashley Shaw just dropping through those three. I don't think DeWale saw him, because Sanchez kind of blocked the view for a little bit there, and DeWale able to keep it there. Andrew Burrell's now getting lapped as well. A lot of these guys through this green flag run getting organically lapped, and obviously damage is in play, but now Daniel Nanny is here to battle it out.
Riding on board with Edward Sanchez, you can see that focus face there again. DeWale keeps trying that outside lane, but it's just not quite working, as Daniel Nanny has closed right up to those two on those fresher tires, like I've said. I mean, I said if this race goes green, which it's not going to, then Nanny's got the advantage, and now it's going green. So I think I just need to stop predicting when cautions are going to come out, because clearly it's whatever. I mean, I didn't know the commentator's curse was this powerful. I'm not even up here in the booth that often, but you know, it's called a curse for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. As he is side by side with Zachary DeWale.
Ooh.
DeWale hits the wall. I think there goes DeWale's challenge for the lead. He best just let Nanny by here, try to follow him through past Edward.
Yeah, that was a rough couple turns there for the 519. He hit the wall, I think, about 3 or 4 times going through about 4 corners. So he's going to have to regroup here, try to do everything he can. And like you said, Ryan, the first time we have this long green flag run, and these guys are suffering from it if they did not protect their tires. And obviously Nanny having that tire advantage helps a lot, but you can see a lot of these guys that pushed it early are now falling through the field. I mean, also to note, Clint Holtzman still staying within the top 10 relatively close, as now Daniel Nanny has closed into the back bumper of Edward Sanchez.
Yeah, he's going to try to get it done as the lap car Jason Wallach gets in the way just a little bit.
I think now would be the best time. So, commercial break?
Yeah. Nanny just doesn't quite get it done. He's going to keep trying to work Edward. I think we're going to take a little break here, just so the producers and us commentators have a moment to step away. But we're going to keep things focused here for sure on this battle between Edward Sanchez and Daniel Nanny for the lead. Edward Sanchez holds on to it for now. Let's see if it stays that way. We'll be right back. And a caution.
Never mind. We're not going to commercial.
Oh, my goodness.
Nick's doctor, I think, involved in that.
Uh-oh. All right, tell you what, Brad, I'll be right back.
All right. Well, as we were going to caution, everything seemed had great timing there, as tonight I think it's been just a constant cycle of great timing. And, this caution came out at an interesting time for a lot of these guys. I think Daniel Nanny, obviously, he was making his way through the field, now making up to second place. Edward Sanchez is probably relieved to see this caution come out. Even though there's been so many so far tonight, it's going to be a relief for him as we're riding on board with that beautiful 124 car. I thought Cade Corbin potentially would have gotten to the back bumper, but he tries to clear himself on Keegan Kallick, I believe, and that just doesn't work out for the 124. Ethan Decatur just adds to it, and he just instantly goes away. Wow. That is unfortunate for that 124. I think Decatur might have gotten disqualified.
Yeah, he has 36 incident points.
Moment. So that was because of incident points here today, and obviously the Valparaiso machine. I mean, that car has been through everything, it seems like, tonight. And also this 124, who had that great paint scheme, also unfortunately a victim to a lot of these unfortunate cautions tonight as we ride on board with the 111 from Valparaiso. Just honed it in on that 124. And as you say that, boom, he's gone. He, like we said, got disqualified, and Nick Stockner, the car we're riding on board with, receives the EOL. As you see, he just tries to clear himself. I mean, he didn't leave Keegan Calick any type of room up on that higher line, and that's going to result in the 124 receiving an EOL along with some damage to go with it. During this whole replay session, we had everyone come down pit road, I believe. I don't think anyone's going to opt out of staying on these tires. So still your leader, Edward Sanchez from Baruch, is going to keep that lead. Daniel Nanny behind, and you can see a lot of these guys who are getting their laps back here, passing the pace car. And to think, a lot of these guys in the top 5, it's just been a jumbled bag, I think, of different backgrounds tonight. Edward Sanchez keeping his name always within podium position, mostly within the lead here tonight. And then you have Daniel Nanny, who's been back to the back, up to the front, back to the back. He's just been up and down, up and down. As you can see, there's been a challenge call for that incident there for the 124, but the lights are out on the pace car. Baruch Ball State on your front row coming to the line, and the 26 is going to get a huge jump. Daniel Nanny does not get a great jump at all, and the 519 might be able to benefit from it as well.
Excellent time for Sanchez to get one of his best restarts of the day.
Bump.
He flies away from the field. They are beating and banging back there hard. No caution yet. Zach DeWale holds on to P2. Not a great restart for Nanny. Sanchez and DeWale just caught him sleeping as Reese Bayham sneaks to the inside of Nanny. Doesn't get it done. Ricky Paz almost makes contact with Bayham. There's a Bosian on the outside of the 334 Auburn machine. I think he's going to get that pass done. Everybody on equal tires now. So it is just a straight up dog fight here at Bristol Motor Speedway for these last 33 laps.
Dog.
Yeah, and all these guys have to keep in mind, obviously you have 40 laps to go. They can either go all green or all caution, and right now I think you can see some of the guys who are banking on maybe a caution or two. And Brandon Schollenberger has shown his face now into potentially the 6th position, doing a great job from Wingate to try and keep up tonight. I know he was part of some incidents earlier, and now is going to try to switch over down to that inside line on Connor Zabosian, riding on board with the 7 machine. You can see the outside lane just having that power, gets Zabosian by, and now Schollenberger is going to try and run that middle of the line and just dive it down coming out of 2. And however you've ran tonight, obviously you've learned so much in that last stint. You're going to try and do something here with this final green flag run, potentially, depending on how everything files out. But you can see this top 5 right in front of Schollenberger is just fanning out as Edward Sanchez has a little bit of a lead over DeWale.
Yeah, we get a look here at Brandon Schollenberger working that wheel. I like that that right hand beneath the 3 o'clock position, closer to 4 o'clock. I like that. I do that myself at short track sometimes. Just helps you, I guess, feel how much you're turning rather than cranking your arms too much. But Brandon Schollenberger runs in P6. Good result for him. He's made his way back up the field a little bit for sure. Lucas Moody continues to smack the wall, coming off of, I believe, turn 4. As Daniel Nanny still runs in 3rd, is not able to get back up to Zach DeWale, who jumped him there at that restart.
I mean, you can see, Lucas Moody, also someone who I feel like has been slept on this entire race. We saw him up at the front earlier, then he fell back a little bit, and now he's shown back up currently behind his Ball State teammate and Daniel Nanny, trying to figure out how to get up to a podium position potentially. But right now, he's just feeling it out, trying to stay in front of Connor Zabosian. As really Zach DeWale and Edward Sanchez have powered their way in front of this little group of 3, and potentially that could ruin their tires. But there's only 23 laps to go coming to the line, so it's not much to go on. And now Reese Bayham, Ricky Paz going at it.
Oh, Ricky Paz makes contact, shoots below to the bottom of the track ever so slightly. Reese is going to get that cleared. I only somewhat agree with you there, Brad. 23 laps to go. You're definitely going to get rewarded for pushing here, especially if no yellow comes out. But you can't go full send quite yet. Full send was at about 10 to go. If you full send now, coming with 10 to go, maybe 5 to go, you're going to get freight trying to be the people who cared about their tires. Brandon Schollenberger still 6th place. Reese Bayham in 7th. Cleared Ricky Paz earlier. Zach DeWale, that gap to Edward Sanchez has stayed about the same. Closest gap in the top 5 is Connor Zabosian to Lucas Moody. That's 4th and 5th place. Ricky Paz a little bit farther back beneath Reese Bam as we take a look at Lucas Moody once again.
Ooh, also P1's not
Moody
that
doing a
far
great job,
away.
along with our current highest running alumni on the back bumper of the 26, trying to challenge for that lead. You can see a little bit of lap traffic potentially here in a couple laps. Right now, 519's not waiting. He dives it to the inside going into 3. The 26 is going to power through on the outside lane, not going to let any type of chance happen for the St. Clair machine. The 519 goes back to regroup, running that high lane. Both of these guys, I mean, running that higher lane, mid to higher lane, and, you know, burning up the tire. Daniel Nanny and some of these other guys running lower lane might be able to catch up, but right now, the 26 has been in the lead and dominant here today. It seems like you see Jake Cummings. Ooh, Connor is I believe Connor Copini right now battling it out. I thought they were side by side, which would have caused a lot of drama, but it did not. As right now, Edward Sanchez pulls about 4/10 ahead of the St. Clair machine, and now the rest of the field is going to try and figure out anything they can do to get back up to the 26 if everything goes well.
Yeah, Sanchez just manages to get through that traffic a little bit better than DeWale, but DeWale, I think, is coming back to him. DeWale using that high line to great effect at the moment. We'll see if there's a price to pay for that later, as here come Daniel Nanny and Lucas Moody around the outside of the lap car of Jake Cummings. Lucas Moody actually doing a good job of getting a little closer to Daniel Nanny here as the laps tick away. I think Lucas has hit the wall quite a few times, but has not paid a price for that yet. Only 14 to go here at Bristol.
And, you know, if you guys blink, you're going to miss it. 14 laps here is not much at all. It's really about 5 minutes for the rest of this race, if that, you know, without any caution. So we see the 519 again up to the back bumper of the Baruch machine. You know, the 26 has been a brick wall pretty much all of today once he got up to that lead. And the 519 has definitely been one of those people that have just constantly been at that brick wall trying to get by it, around it, over it, anything he can do. But right now, still stuck behind the 26.
Well, I'll tell you what, Zach DeWale is getting real close to Edward Sanchez. I think this is the closest he's been in this stint of the race. Gets some overlap. He's there. DeWale is there. Edward Sanchez is going to have that outside line. DeWale tracks up a little bit, tries to late apex the corner. Sanchez shoots by him, has him cleared by 2 car lengths as they go into turn 1. A little farther back, Ricky Paz, Brendan Schulenberger, Reese Bayham are fighting hard. They are 2 by 2. Almost 3 wide. Ricky would have been real not smart if he did that. Zabosian and Reese Bayham are both in the wall, shooting sparks out into the air. Brandon Schulenberger trying to make that inside line work. I just don't know if it's going to. You have to come off that yellow line a bit just to keep up any sort of momentum. Gets cleared by Reese Bayham, decides to stick with that bottom line. Ricky Paz, here comes the late apex. Oh my gosh, I know he wanted to go 3 wide there so bad. Thought better of it. 3 wide at Bristol, I don't know if that's advisable, even if there's only 2 to go. Brandon Schulenberger still holding firm on that inside lane. Zachary DeWale is still behind Edward Sanchez as they go around some lapped cars.
You know, this
no real challenge for the lead just yet.
Yeah, these guys are all battling it out here from 5th on back. You can see Connor Zabosian getting the wall a little bit. That's going to be Ricky Paz. Well, Reese Bayham gets some. Whoa, Brandon Schulenberger gets a little bit punted into turn 3. He's able to save it and keep it in the middle of the track. He's still saving. Oh, and Ricky Paz around. Oh, Jared Kaler gets collected.
Oh, no. Oh, that is a huge wreck. And there goes Clint. Clint's dead. Brandon's dead.
Wow.
Brandon is not happy about that. Let me do a little bit of peeking into the Orange Real Racing server. Okay, Ricky Paz is not in that voice call, and I think that's probably for the better. I would love to get a replay of that, see more specifically what happened, but I imagine Brandon is not thrilled with Mr. Paz.
I would not be either.
I think that took out like 5 of the remaining 13 cars on the lead.
Yeah,
12 cars on the lead.
That was basically 5th through 10th right there, and we're gonna get a freaking green light checker in all likelihood.
And it starts there. You can see the 19 gets
Hold
into
on.
the back of the.
There we go.
Oh, maybe not.
Go a little farther back. Ricky just puts the bumper to him? What the?
I guess braking zones were a little different for the 19 and 7. The 7, you know, Schulenberger was able to save it for the time being. And then, you know, it's never too easy to keep the car safe.
And then Ricky gets loose above. I think Brandon has it saved, but then Ricky gets loose. Schulenberger takes out Jared Kaler.
Oh.
Huge hit, lifted into the air. Then Clint Halterman has nowhere to go. I mean, that's a Orange Wheel Racing triple whammy right there. Not a great race for my teammates. That's not great. Yeah, and there it is. Car 19 EOL plus a strike for avoidable contact with the number 7. I mean, you know, love Ricky, love working with him. I think he and I have done some great stuff in the Formula College Series as of late. But as we ride on board with Clint Halterman, yeah, I agree with the stewards on that one. That was an interesting time to put the bumper to somebody here at Bristol. But there they wreck up ahead. Clint goes way to the bottom of the track.
Oh.
I mean, Brandon's in the air. Clint goes to a stop. CTE. He's dead. I mean, get out the tarps. He went from 120 to nothing in the span of half a second.
Well, real quick
There's
here,
Brandon
I think
Schulenberger.
Oh, let's do
right to the wall.
let's do a cockpit.
Brandon's dead. Clint's dead.
I want to do a cockpit of
this-
Brandon trying to save it.
Well, we actually have the lights out on the pace car
Oh.
here, and it's going to be an organic green-white checkered. And before that's all said and done, the laps are really quick here. So this green-white checkered is brought to you by the McConey setup.
Brandon has that saved, man. And this is actually a green-white
That's
checker.
turn out.
I'm seeing it on my iRacing. This is not an organic green-white checker. This is the final
this is?
restart of the race. Edward Sanchez with Zach Doyle to his outside. Daniel Naney third. Lucas Moody fourth. You can see here in the Collegiate iRacing League College Cup Series, we only do one green-white checker. The white flag is taken. The race will finish under green no matter what. Green-white checker brought to you by McConey Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the Collegiate iRacing League. All of these drivers running McConey Setup Shop setups. If you want to learn more, go to McConeySetupShop.com. Lights are out on the pace car, Brad.
And, you know, Ryan, you did a better call out of this, setting this all up than I ever could have here in Bristol. The last great Coliseum, Edward Sanchez, Zach DeWale battling it out all night. Daniel Nanny, Lucas Moody behind. These guys are going to have to battle out. 2 laps to go here as the 26 gets a great jump coming to the green. The 519 hanging around here on the outside.
Great by normal standards, but not his best restart of the day. There's 2 corners down. Doyle going to go all the way to the high side. These guys are even on tires. Nose tire strategy is a factor here. Coming to the white flag. Doyle within a car length. Anani only 3/4 of a car length behind Doyle.
The 519 is going to look to the inside of the 26. The 26 will use the outside and able to take the win here at Bristol. Absolutely.
Edward is ecstatic. You know, the Super Speedway merchant has managed to do it at the Super Speedway of short tracks. That's what I'm going to call this.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Manny gives him a congratulatory bump. Fantastic race. I mean, Edward was the guy to beat all day.
And I don't think there's anyone more fitting to win here tonight more than the 26. You can see congratulations all around from all different schools. And tonight, Edward Sanchez dominates here in Bristol and takes home that great crown jewel champion race here tonight. You can see the 26 going to burn it down here in the Coliseum, along with Lucas Moody. It looked like back there as well, joining in on the fun. But the 26 is going to cherish this one as you see Ricky Paz join in.
Yeah, those 2 are friends. You can see the similar number font. Lucas Moody as well, Vortex Racing teammate. Great win for Edward Sanchez. I know he's super happy about that. That is a genuine demonstration of improvement as a driver. This is not the track type we would expect him to win at. He is ecstatic. I know that feeling, Edward. I know that feeling. I think, is this his first ever Cup win? I wish the stat man was here. Has he won a Super Speedway race?
The stat man, this would not be his. I'm sorry, I'm doing the stats right now, but I believe this is his first win here tonight. As I'm looking at the stat sheet.
The Super Speedway merchant hasn't merchanted himself to a Super Speedway win. Look at him! Look at him! Oh, he's waving to the fans. He's waving to the fans. He knows we're looking at him. I'm gonna make fun of him for that. He knows we're watching. He's aura farming, bro. Is aura farming right now.
And if you want, I mean, this is going to only set up for an amazing interview after the race.
Oh,
but
yeah.
If you want to see that, you'll have to join us back here in a couple minutes back here at Bristol as Edward continues to burn it down. And we will be right back to talk to our top 3 along with results.
When you
All right.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Marconi.
With the launch of
I don't know
Marconi
where our
Entertainment
longest
and
green
Marconi
flag
Company
run
Zone
was.
Alongside Marconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes,
I guess like
you
115
have what
was
you
pretty.
need to hit the track with confidence.
Shit.
Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at
Eh.
MarconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Marconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and
It is
turn
kinda
a lot
funny.
of oil through the engine.
The Super Speedway Merchant gets his first win at the smallest
Compact,
track of the
lightweight,
season.
and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Pounds.
Like, of course, I could have said that.
Small size
Right?
and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
Yeah, I saw that. I went and quickly checked YouTube.
Racing
There we go, like a
isn't
minute
easy,
left.
but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers
Oh, he did?
chosen by skill-based matchmaking.
Oh, I'll get his car up
Ensure
there then.
competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel.
All right, 10 seconds.
Visit iRacing.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're back.
Welcome back, everyone. And you can see the 26 has resided in victory lane like he should after that amazing dominant race here at Bristol. And we're going to send it over to Ryan, who's going to interview our winner here tonight, Edward Sanchez.
Edward Sanchez, welcome to the broadcast booth. Oh, you are ready. You are ready. Bro is aura farming. I assume you got a copy up here, Edward?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was like, interview me last, guys. I want to soak it in.
No. Best for first. Edward, I mean, you were the car to beat all day. You started second, but led most of that race. Sounds like a certain someone who won last week. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This is your first CIL win, right?
First, baby, finally!
I said the Super Speedway Merchant wins on the shortest track of the calendar. Edward, just tell us about that win, man. Tell us how you're feeling.
I was just absolutely every lap leading this race was just it was so it was just a lot on my body because like you saw, I'm not sure if y'all saw during the cautions, I almost got wrecked 3 times when I was catching up because the lap cars were still wrecked out, and like I almost got wrecked out 3 times. And it was just like honestly, the biggest challenge is just keeping the car clean and not getting wrecked out. Um, when that last caution came out, I was so distraught. There was 2 instances where my heart fell and then my heart rose. That caution when we all pitted for laps, Nanny was catching up to me. I gotta say, 5 more laps, I think he would have got me. I was doing so hard to keep it behind, and he has the #1 pit stall. And everyone knows in Bristol, it's over. If you are second in line going to pit road and you're in the first pit box, 90% of the time you're gonna get the lead. I somehow kept it, and then that's when this last caution came out, and that was my second time of like, oh, but I cannot do this again. But then luckily I saw it was a green white check, and I was like, this is the last one. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna breathe in. I asked Ricky for all the motivation there could be, and yeah, I couldn't have asked for any other way possible. I mean, come on, guys, like who is up front? Who is dominating?
I'm happy for you, Edward. I mean, I think this is going to be one of the easier. What are you watching back there, buddy? I think this is going to be one of the easier social media posts for the social media director to make. But I hope we don't get an essay in the caption of that one. But yeah, man, congrats on the win. Tell us about your restart strategy.
I was running out of tricks. Man, Lucas was such an easy target. I love Lucas, but I'm not gonna lie. I feel like apart from Nanny, Ball State guys, they knew how to really run long run. And the whale was getting there too. I mean, I was just saving so much. Like you saw every restart, I gapped because I don't know if they didn't know. Like you could push hard, full throttle through turns 1, especially if you're in the front 2 rows. So that's why I picked up like 6/10 off every restart. When you saw me pull away, I put it in 4th, I cranked the wheel and I full throttled it all around 1 and 2. And then once I got that lead, I slowed down, went to the bottom, saved tires. That's how I was able to just manage it afterwards.
Well, I mean, that was a great run, man. Before we let you go, I'm super happy for you, by the way. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out?
Oh my, all right. So I was going to write a script this morning. I woke up and I had a shower thought because for the folks at home, I did 4 NIS, 3 NIS fixed, 1 NIS open. I did 10 A fixed. That's like around more than 2,000 laps around this place. That's how much practice I put in for this whole last weekend and last week. I was doing so many officials. And so this morning, I was like, I should write a script just in case I win, but I didn't want to be too cocky. So here we go. First of all, shout out to the Baruch ESA Chevrolet Camaro, if I'm legally allowed to say that. Shout out to everybody. Gabe, our man, thank you so much, Gabe. He's the one who helps put out my race announcements and stuff like that within our Baruch ESA community. Shout out to Madam President. I'm so proud to have won under your presidency, a win for Baruch ESA, a win for Baruch College. Shout out to everyone in Baruch ESA. I'm trying to remember names, but I don't want to digress. So all of y'all are amazing. Shout out to every single one of the production team here. Y'all are just amazing. Shout out to the director POV, producer POV, right?
Hey.
On the stream tonight. So I'm glad, Christian, to be winning on your special stream. Shout out to Vortex mentioned. I know we have a lot of things going on within the community, but I'm just glad that I was able to get a win for us. Shout out to the Ball State drivers. They raced really clean. Shout out to Orange Wheel Racing. They raced clean. Everyone on the field, it was amazing up front. I mean, close calls here and there, but shout out to them. And so shout out to all my family in Colombia, in Spain, and everywhere around the world. I cannot wait to clip farm this. Shout out to my brother. Well, actually, no. Shout out to my parents first of all, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be standing here. Shout out to my brother. I wouldn't be racing on this sim rig if it wasn't for him. He was the one nagging me to get a steering wheel, the Logitech G920. For 3 years ago, I got it. Like it was about a 3-year anniversary. I still am racing on it. So Matthew, thank you so much, bro. This wouldn't have happened if he kept freaking annoying me about it. And lastly, shout out to my lovely girlfriend Liz. I saw her text start popping up on my phone when I was doing burnouts and a reverse polar slap. I love you. Every week for the last 4 weeks, I did not finish a CIL race on the lead lap. I wrecked out so many times. I remember Alex always saying, and it's another tough week for Baruch College. Well, this is not a tough week. I finally finished on the lead lap after 4 bad weeks, and I finally won at just dominant fashion. So shout out to my girlfriend. I love you so much, girl. I cannot wait to celebrate. And shout out to myself because no, I did not get my first win at a super speedway. I am not a super speedway merchant. I won at
Are you
the
sure?
I
Are you
mean, I
sure?
don't know. I guess I could. I
No,
could
man,
still
I'm
be a
messing with
merchant.
you.
No. I could still win. I could still win next semester. Anyways, no. But I mean, look, I'm just so happy right now, and thank you guys so much for making this happen. Ryan, thank you so much for coming up to the booth and being able to commentate. You know, like the words of Kyle Larson, that was some ass whooping out there. I did it. I did it.
This is a
Anyways,
PG program, sir. This is a PG program,
we'll
sir.
bleep that afterwards. Don't worry.
All right, Edward. I'm gonna have to take one out of Ricky's book. I'm gonna have to get him out of here. Congrats on the win, man.
Thank you.
That was Edward Sanchez, the super speedway merchant, the aura farmer, the clip farmer, in victory lane, here tonight at Bristol. Let's go ahead and get our P2 finisher from St. Clair College, one Zachary DeWale, and our alumni winner up in the booth. Zach DeWale, you got a copy?
Loud and clear, buddy.
Look at that beautiful emerald green 519. Ooh, that rhymes. I just came up with that. I like that.
I like
Tell
that.
us about
That's
your
really
race,
good.
man. Yeah. Tell us about your race. I mean, you gave Edward a challenge, but I think his restarts were good all day. Just tell us about it.
Dude, it was really close. Felt like every run I needed like 3 more laps. Once everyone really started pushing it the second half of the race, last third of the race maybe, felt like was when I really found my pace. Like the first bit when everyone was saving, we were all taking our time, just trying to negotiate wrecks and stuff. I felt bad. Like the car felt slow, tight. It was not good to drive. But at the end, once we really started going, I could use the top side of the track a bit more, which is where I really like to be. It got really fun. The car felt really fast, and I think I had the fastest car on track at the end. But man, Edward just keep it on a clinic. He did really well today. He really deserves the win, but it's tough to be so close again.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I hate to say it, man, but I feel like that's sometimes the story of your CIL racing.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the advantage of restarting first. Edward, like you said, had a super great day. I mean, all day we talked about the difference between the low line and the high line, how the low line probably was better on your tires, but the high line was for sure better to pass on. You think that's true? How did that kind of play out for you today?
I definitely think that's true. It was really hard to pass on the inside. There was a couple times on that second to last run before we had the green white checkered caution. I would get to Edwards inside and I'd be on his door through the center of the corner, but this car is just so tight you can't get it to turn down the track from the bottom. So if you're door to door, the guy on the high side's gonna clear you, no matter what you do, really, unless you put him in the wall. And Edward's a good dude. I didn't want to do that, so just had to try and get to his outside, but he was doing a really good job of getting back up in front of me and shutting that down. So yeah, just tricky, very tricky.
Well, I mean, one race left. Try to get a dub. Auto Club next week. To my knowledge, Auto Club is a track that you're pretty solid at. So, without further ado, before we go on to next week, is there anybody you want to shout out tonight?
Yeah, well, first I want to shout out the maker of my beautiful Emerald Green 519. Oh, wait, that's you. That's Mr. Ryan.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That
wow.
is me.
Holy crap, look at that. And as always, all the other boys at OWR and my friends Emily Riley and my wonderful girlfriend Hannah, who's been watching the races. Shout out to all you guys. It was really fun, really close again. Hopefully, Auto Club we can do better and finally get that win, man. It's been too long. I think it was like season 8 or season 7 or something.
Well,
Like,
you did spank the field at STS on Tuesday a week ago.
hey, I'm just saying, man. Short tracks. I love
I
it.
hear ya.
I love me a short track.
Well, thanks again, Mr. DeWale, for joining us. Congratulations on the P2 and the alumni win. Let's not sell that short. See you next week, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you then.
That was Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College, alumni, winner, and second place finisher. Going to hand it over to Brad, who is joined by Daniel Nanny, our P3 finisher today. Take it away, Brad.
Oh, Daniel got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Daniel, I mean, to say you weren't up and down the scoreboard all tonight would be an understatement. I mean, twice you were sent at the end of the line, and you came back to resilient third place finish spot. We saw you battle it out with Edward Sanchez in the final happenings here, but really take us through your night, and especially whenever you got that second EOL penalty and how you're able to get through the field.
Yeah, tonight was an emotional roller coaster. I was already complaining before we took the green flag because everybody was checking up. But yeah, going through the field, I went through the field with the first EOL, and then I got damaged on one of the wrecks, so I went back to the end of the field, and then that untimely, I don't even know what happened. Whoever was in front of me just washed up the track a little bit, and I was even on the throttle, and I just ended up touching him. So receiving that second EOL was also a nightmare, but thankfully throughout all these wrecks, there was like a lot of cars that were wrecked out of the race. Like at one point, I went down pit road and I came out in 12th, and it was very emotional, roller coaster of a night. And quite frankly, I'm just happy to finish third and pretty much lock up the championship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if our statistics tell us right here, I'll be the first to congratulate you on winning the overall championship here, despite not even racing an auto club yet. How does that feel to be champion in season 12 after a historic season? So many wins, so many ups and downs, and yet you were so consistent throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, winning 3 races in a row, then getting suspended after 1 race after that, that was a bit of a heartbreaker. But, I knew deep down that I was going to be able to come out on top because, I mean, a lot of these guys here just, I don't really know how to put it, that they have a lot of catching up to do. But, yeah, I had confidence in myself. Especially after last semester, that was a very bad semester for me. And being able to just stay consistent when I was able to race, and I leading laps, getting poles, winning 6 races, and clinching the championship of race early. That was something that was on my bucket list, and I'm happy I was able to do it.
And are you celebrating tonight at anything, or is it business as usual because of the championship?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
I know it's a Monday night.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, again, you're going in the auto club here, got the championship in hand. Before we go or let you go here, is there anyone you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I got to shout out the entire Ball State Esports organization and everybody on the sim team. They have done a lot of hard work, and they've proven it throughout the season. And I'm just so proud of them and everything they've been able to accomplish. And I'm just like I said earlier, I'm just very happy to win the championship for them, and can't wait to go celebrate with them. And guys, give a shout out to all the sponsors on the car, Ryko, Pepsi, RL, all of them for supporting me and the Ball State organization throughout the past school year. And last but not least, I got to shout out my parents for being there, supporting me, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, congratulations again, Daniel. Third place tonight, but more importantly, congratulations on the championship here tonight. And hope you have a great week here. And then next week, we'll see you at Auto Club.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
All right, have a good one.
Peace.
And that was your third place finisher, Daniel. and I got moved, but I am.
Oops.
And
That was my fault.
So, before we distinctly kick me out, let's at least go through the results here at Bristol here tonight.
All right.
We went through the top 3, but yet again, let's talk it through. Edward Sanchez, your winner here tonight from Baruch College. Zachary DeWale finishing second from St. Clair College. Ball State teammates and Daniel Nanny, Lucas Moody finished third and fourth. Reese Bayham from Auburn University saw him all night tonight being fast. He finishes fifth. Ball State teammate here in Muhammad Ali finishes sixth. And Jason Wallet has a great finish after a lot of great battling throughout tonight. Finishes seventh from Drexel. Connor Zabosian from Kettering finishes eighth from Kettering. Keegan Cowlick from St. Clair College finishes ninth. And rounding out your top 10, Jared Kaler from UNC Charlotte.
Ricky Paz, after fighting up there early, falls back to 11th from East Carolina University. Andrew Burrell finishes 12th for Clemson University. Pretty solid result for him. Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte finishes 13th, falls short of his expectations tonight. Jake Cummings does the same, falls a little bit short. Converse University for 14th, 2 laps down. Cade Corbin, my teammate, walks home with a top 15. Can't complain too terribly much from the University of Alabama in Huntsville, but he is still 3 laps down. Esteban Munoz, I think, caused that first yellow from Florida International University, finishes 16th. Michael James from Drexel University finishes 17th. Brandon Schulenberger, after getting involved with Ricky Paz late from Wingate University, finishes 18th. Wesley Shaw from Texas A&M Texarkana, 16 laps down, finishes 19th. And Carter Capini finishes 20th from Paul Smith College.
And all of these guys here on out. A lot of incidents and obviously ending their night. Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso finishes 21st. Roger Primo from Paul Smith College finishes 22nd. Nick Stockner in that beautiful paint scheme finishes 23rd from Clemson University. And 24th, Ben Neller from Ball State University. And then 25th, Drew Williams from Clemson University. And in 26th, Logan Smith from Auburn University. And behind him, Brendan Lyman from the University of Colorado, Denver. Matthew Norberg in 28th from NC State. In 29th, Riley Berkins from New England College. And rounding out your top 30, Jack Wilson from the University of North Georgia.
Ryan, last time.
And here we go with Jacob Martin from Belmont Abbey College, 176 laps down, finishes 31st. Daniel Crone, University of Toledo, 32nd. Kelton Quick, Ball State University, out early, finished 33rd. Caleb Winslow from East Carolina University, 34th. Nick Henley, Ball State teammate, not a great result from him compared to teammates, 35th. Grant Schiller from St. Clair College finishes 36th. Robbie Hotchkiss from New England Colleges comes home in 37th. Garrett Vighton, disappointing result for him for sure, from Arizona State University, finishes 38th. And Zachary Hill from University of North Georgia finishes 39th.
And that is your field here from Bristol. Well, one thing's for sure, Ryan, there is no lack of entertainment here tonight. Do you have any words of wisdom here before, we leave the Coliseum and go to the, now defunct Auto Club?
Yeah, well, I mean, first let's have fun at the still alive version of Auto Club that we can still enjoy to this day, despite its teardown in the real world. I'll give a little bit of administrative insight for the Collegiate iRacing League. The reason Bristol and Auto Club were the last 2 races of the season is that Bristol is the Dynaco 400 and Auto Club is the 3-way tie race in California in 1 week. So this is meant to be an homage to the Cars movie. Dynaco 400 is at the Motor Speedway of the South. That's Bristol. But I think it's going to be fun. Fantastic job by Edward today. He managed the race well. He didn't use his tires too much. He was really good on the restarts, in particular. And I think a similar, not necessarily a similar like race flow, but a similar level of intelligence is going to be needed to win at Auto Club in a week's time. That's a really wide track. It's going to be a lot of good racing, maybe a lot of 3-wide, 4-wide, maybe even 5-wide. And Auto Club's always been good to the Collegiate iRacing League. I think it's going to be a lot of fun here in 1 week.
Yeah, and like you said, pretty much if you missed all the 3-wide, 4-wide action that we saw at Kentucky and even prior races, you're going to see it next week at Auto Club. But until then, next Monday here at the CIL channel, you will be able to see the season finale from Auto Club starting at 8:30 with the pre-race show. After that, if you can't wait for it, the Formula Series takes on Michigan Speedway for race 13 of the season, and it will be Wednesday, April 16th, starting at 8:45. And we actually have a collegiate sports car challenge, I believe, as well.
We
Nürburgring. Yeah, Ryan, if you want to take this one.
This is the series I'm in charge of. So sorry to steal it from you, but I'm very happy with how the Collegiate Sports Car Challenge has gone so far this season. It's going to be a lot of fun doing the penultimate race of FC at Michigan, which is going to be tough, and then going to the season finale for the Collegiate Sports Car Challenge at the Nürburgring, no less. So Nürburgring combined Simstrecke long layout. I don't know if I said that right, but it's going to be a 2-hour race. Practice has been extended, qualifying has been extended to allow for these drivers to tackle the challenge that is the Green Hell. It's going to be the 2 hours of the Green Hell. I believe championships are on the line tomorrow. I have been in the booth all season for the Collegiate Sports Car Challenge, but this week I will be making my one-off race appearance. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be, I think it's the only time the CIL has ever been at the Nürburgring in any series.
Correct.
And it might be the only time it ever will. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Not for bad reasons. Just because CSC might be changing cars a little bit next season. So
Ooh.
this is going to be the only chance we have to do the Nürburgring. So tune in for that one for sure. Sorry for the really long self plug, but I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh no, I mean, we're definitely gonna have to watch that one Thursday night here, and if all things go well here, obviously I think we have a great series of races coming up in the next week, so you won't want to miss out on that. But for everyone here in the booth today, I want to thank every one of our viewers for joining us here tonight, watching tonight's action here at Bristol, and hope you stay tuned on all of our social media pages and checking in on all of the racing going on here throughout the end of the season. Again, I want to thank the entire staff here that brings the racing to you. For our producer, Christian Brian Hill, co-commentator Ryan Whitlock, I am Brad Daniels. Thanks again for joining, and have a great week.
All right, guys are up. Woo. A little bit. I'm just kidding. Well, yeah, I saw what you were drinking that night. It's good to know. Make a note. Nah, he won't. I guess that's going to be a quick one for him. He's going to be able to pull that out real. It's going to be posted tomorrow. I don't think there's any there's no way he loses that win. Like, I don't think he didn't do anything wrong. So Edward, yeah, like for a penalty or something. I think he usually waits until lose P3. Yeah, he I think Edward usually waits until everything's been confirmed, so he waits the 48 hours. So. Which it also helps, yeah. And we're out. We're out. Nice. All right. Well, appreciate everyone watching on this director's POV. It was interesting. Might do it again. We'll see. So, thanks. Have a nice night.